Hello everybody, welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video today. In today's video, I want to go over my opinions regarding a lot of Dead by Daylight events over the last few years, and basically why I think a lot of the times when people are playing these events, you can experience a lot of unfun matches and a lot of unfun experiences, and as to why I personally feel like Dead by Daylight and Behavior could do a lot better with these events, and why I feel like a lot of the times these events feel very lazy and uninteresting. To start, I think one of the biggest flaws when it comes to your ability to earn cosmetics in Dead by Daylight is the fact that they basically reuse the archive structure that we all have already seen played out over the last few years. Don't get me wrong, it's not like the archive structure is fundamentally like a huge problem, because there is some benefit to being able to complete extra challenges that are pretty easy to complete when it comes to these events that will allow you to progress through your Rift Pass much easier. But I think arguably when half of the time your ability to earn cosmetics is reused with recycled mechanics and content that's already in the game, it makes the game already feel less interesting whenever you introduce new events, when we already kind of know what to expect and what the gameplay is going to be. The other half of the way you earn cosmetics over the times when it comes to these events is that you essentially interact with something in the game matches that seems fairly simple, and then you kind of already earn the cosmetic based on whether or not you escape as a survivor or you just interact with it as a killer. The reason why I feel like that gameplay or that way of earning your rewards with these events can be not necessarily the greatest thing ever is a lot of the times, again, they're fairly easy to obtain, and whenever they do something like that where the survivor has to just kind of interact with one thing in the environment and escape, or the killer just has to interact with it and they kind of guarantee get the cosmetic, is that it basically encourages behavior to do less work when it comes to creating more interesting mechanics and fun things to engage with in the maps and the environments, by replacing it with just being able to interact with something with a very basic, lazy kind of animation to just automatically get rewards. Recycling the archive structure and recycling the ability to just hit the mouse button on something in the middle of a game to earn that cosmetic takes away any creativity that Behavior might be able to come up with to introduce mechanics and styles in the game that could create fun new experiences that would keep players happy and keep player retention. I think another reason why I heavily criticize a lot of Behavior's events is every time they introduce a new event, they tend to recycle a lot of the content that they did in previous years with essentially very simplified changes to generators, hooks, maybe lockers. A lot of the times when Behavior introduces new events, big or small, there's not too much actually changing within the match that makes it more exciting or interesting. At the end of the day, whenever you're playing a Dead by Daylight event, it very much is pretty much playing the exact same game that we've been playing for the last 7 years. No new game modes, no new mechanics, nothing too visually interesting changed about many of the maps. And a lot of the times, again, when it comes to earning rewards, you have to earn rewards through recycled systems that aren't really fun or engaging. Or if you already know how to do the archives, because we've already been doing the archives for the last however many years, recycling that to earn cosmetics, although it can provide a benefit with rift rewards and extra rift fragments that you get from the challenges, it doesn't really change the game up in a significant way that makes things more interesting. I think when that is the structure that they choose to earn rewards, and this is the structure that they choose to try to make it a themed event, I just think it doesn't change the game enough fundamentally to keep people more refreshed and having a lot of fun. The other half of the cosmetic criticism I give Behavior is the fact that a lot of the most creative skins that they produce tend to be only locked behind the paywall in the store. I think that really takes away a lot of the excitement of the game, because the events are known for people to be able to earn new cool cosmetics for their favorite characters, and I think when they only give us one cosmetic or two cosmetics and they paywall the rest of them that tend to be the most interesting and the creative ones, I think it takes away a lot of excitement for the game, because that is what people are here for. People are coming back for the game for the cosmetics, because outside of that, the last thing that we have to do is pretty much take advantage of the offerings to essentially get a slightly better blood point bonus. And that actually leads me into the last part of the criticism, I think, when it comes to the way that these games are structured and why these events are structured, and why a lot of people walk away from these events with bad experiences, why people always complain when they come back around. At the end of the day, I think a lot of the times when people are experiencing rushed games with objectives being done very fast on the survivor side, and from the killer side, why we experience a lot of killers during these events do a lot of tunneling and or playing in unfun ways that don't make the game fun for both sides. The reason for that is because at the heart of its core, DBD's events have always been very blood point centered and focused around earning additional blood points. So what that basically does is it encourages players from both sides to essentially hop on all the objectives and engage with the game in as many ways, shapes, and form possible to earn the most blood points. Because if you don't try to engage with the game and of its mechanics that already very few has, you're going to maximize your potential amount of blood points that you can earn from every match. Which means that, of course, the more offerings that people bring and the more blood point incentive there is, the more people from both sides are going to be playing in ways that allow them to maximize the amount of blood points they can get. So whether that means trying to kill the most amount of survivors by tunneling them down or slugging them as a killer, or from the survivor's perspective, when you only have like totems and generators to interact with in the match outside the items you might bring in the trial, the way to earn blood points is going to be to hop on these objectives and to really try to guarantee your blood points, because that's what these events are structured around. And personally, I can only help but criticize behavior on that one, because for so many years now, a lot of the community has been asking for brand new game modes and new mechanics to shake things up when it comes to the way that these matches are structured, to just kind of allow people to have fun. And behavior, for some reason, instead of doing those things, decides that everything is kind of fine and dandy when it comes to everything regarding their game, and they only make events that do these two things: either A, allows the community to earn 1 or 2 cosmetics, or B, create some sort of brand new offering type that allows you to bring like anywhere between 7 to 10% more extra blood points, which is just barely better than the Bloody Party streamers, and just encourage people to keep doing those things. When the community's been bugging so much for so much more new fun content, for behavior to kind of like not listen to that and only push forward a couple cosmetics and mostly blood point rewards for these events, I think it encourages people to play in ways that people just don't find fun, which I understand why a lot of people would walk away from these events with a lot of frustration. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a lot of my criticism when it comes to behavior in their events. Again, to just kind of reiterate and summarize everything one more last time, I just think that whenever they recycle the archive structure, or they recycle the very easy way to obtain cosmetic rewards, it basically buys an excuse for behavior to not do that much work. And also, when the main focus outside of the very couple cosmetics people can kind of get is pretty much focused around trying to maximize the amount of blood points you get by interacting with stuff in the match, because that's how you earn a lot of the points, I think it just encourages people to play in very unfun ways, which is why a lot of these events, when they do come around, either turn players off because they find them to be very unfun when they're trying to experience the games and the matches that they're trying to play, and why a lot of the times these events feel very recycled and boring, because at the end of the day, behavior pretty much is recycling a lot of assets. They pretty much are recycling the same event every time they come up around, and it leaves the game ultimately being the same game that we've been playing for the last 7 years. The same old Dead by Daylight that will unfortunately probably never see a real significant gameplay change. And the last thing to kind of support my argument here is that Nicolas Cage's introduction has been a breath of fresh air for the community. A lot of people really like Nicolas Cage because his perks bring a lot of very fun, quirky mechanics that, although are not extremely well balanced, provides a lot of fun for players on both sides. And I think that behavior should be able to should try to keep continuing to capture that love that people have for that kind of fun, and try to put that into your events more. They gotta introduce something more than just interacting with something in a match that gives you a cosmetic right away. Like, they really should try hard to create new different types of gameplay mechanics that change everything. Like, even with the Twisted Masquerade, those mechanics to be able to delete pallets as a killer and also produce new pallets as a survivor, stuff like that isn't necessarily balanced but is a fun gameplay mechanic, is stuff that they need to focus more with more events. And unfortunately, it's sad to see that every time we get these events coming back and reoccurring, they just tend to be the same reiterations of the last one. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be for me. Leave it down in the comments below what you guys think, because at the end of the day, I might not be correct. These are just my opinions. I would hear about how the community feels at large about these events as well. I personally think that these events a lot of the times feel lazy. I feel like a lot of the times these events focus on incentivizing players to play in ways that aren't necessarily fun for the sake of blood points, and I wish that behavior would take more time. Instead of reusing assets and being, in my opinion, lazy with the events, I wish they would try really hard to create new mechanics and different experiences within their game, because at the end of the day, that's what behavior should be maximizing with this game, is replayability and longevity, because this is one of behavior's only truly successful games out on the market. But that's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and leave the comment section down below your opinions. But that is it for me. I'll see you guys all next time. Peace out.